Hello, everyone. My name is Debbie Nolan, and today I have an assistant, Anna Trong, to help us in our gentle yoga practice today. So let us begin our practice by first preparing the space for our practice. So a yoga mat or a beach towel if you have one. I have a tie-dye one because, as you can see, I like tie-dye. So also blocks if you have them. If you don't have yoga blocks, pillows of different size, a little firmer in texture, are very useful. And also a strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, you can use a belt, or you can use an old necktie that perhaps is garish and you don't like it anymore. So having those things adjacent to you, go ahead and spread out your mat, be in comfortable clothes, and let's begin today's practice of gentle yoga. As we begin, this practice starts in a seated position. So you can start with the legs crossed, you can start with the legs extended out, whichever one is most comfortable for you today and feels the most natural. So once you're in that position, just allow the backs of your wrists to rest on your thighs or your knees, and then close your eyes or shut them halfway, whichever is more comfortable for you. So today, let's join together the mind, the body, and the breath by focusing first on your breath. So as you inhale in and exhale out, just notice the subtleties of the body responding to that breath. Now, if you have allergies, feel free to part your lips and breathe through them gently and allow yourself to have a natural breath. And that just means it's however long it is, shorter. Don't adjust the length of your breath. Have it be what it is right now, this moment in time. Let's leave outside the door, off the mat, and away from this room the hecticness of the outside world, the busyness within your household, and the busyness within your own thoughts, and allow yourself to perhaps collect each of those thoughts, inhaling in and exhaling one away until you feel settled and a little bit more free and open in the mind. As you start to notice the subtleties of the breath, the chest rises to meet the breath and greet it. And then when we exhale, we allow that busy thought to float away, and it just seems to feel as if we're settling within the mat. Take this opportunity to check in with the state of you right now, this moment in time, on your mat. From the crown of your head to the tips of your toes, look for those places that need special nurturing. Maybe they're twinges in the hinges, old injuries, just areas that you're nurturing today so that you're aware of them as you move through your practice this afternoon or this morning or whenever you're participating in this virtual program. As we move through our practice today, you're going to have the opportunity to challenge yourself in different ways. And we really start to feel the practice from the beginning of the muscle movement, the edges of the movement, from the very beginning of the movement, to the point at which if you push too hard, you can cause harm. So no matter what type of yoga class you're ever in, you never want to cause harm. So therefore, find that place for challenge for you today, somewhere in between the beginning and the edge of the movement that meets your needs today. And then finally, just open your eyes gradually. Good, and we begin our practice today. So let's inhale and breathe all the way up to the sky. Good, and then exhale, float forward and collect some flowers, throw them over your head. And again, just big movements from your shoulders, flowing up. Just start to wake up the shoulders. Good, and flow back up one more time. Good. And then we reverse the direction, and it's like we're diving into a pool. So sweeping the arms out to the side or brushing off the dust bunnies off the floor, whatever. So we flow back up. And then as we come to the top this time, we're going to collect those flowers one time and throw them over our head and then dive in the pool. Good. And so again, we collect the flowers and dive into the pool. Good, and one more time for good luck. Collect the flowers and dive in the pool. And as we come to the top, let's exhale and rotate to our right. Good, place a hand on your knee and a hand on the floor behind you. Look over your shoulder, sit up nice and tall. Good, glance over your shoulder perhaps. Good, and then inhale and float your arms back up to the sky and exhale to the opposite side. Looking over your shoulder, breathing in and out. So we're doing a little bit of vinyasa in our warm-up today, and vinyasa just means we're flowing with our breath, matching the movements to the inhales and exhales. Now, as far as that goes, you breathe when you need to breathe, even if it's not when I'm saying something about breathing. The main thing is breathe. So let's inhale, float up to the sky, Anna, and then exhale, go to our right, and then flow back up again, and go to our left. Good, and flow back up, and again, and we'll do this 3 more times. Flow back up, and exhale down. Inhaling up, and exhaling down. Good, and inhale up, and exhale down. Pause on this side one more time, sitting up really tall, and then perhaps you'll notice you can look a little bit further off. Continue the movement in your spine by looking over your shoulder. Good, drink water at any time that you may need it throughout our class. And notice what you're feeling. The biggest thing in yoga is feel what you're doing. Feel those edges. Feel your practice, not just mentally, but physically. Inhale, float back up one more time, and then exhale to the opposite side. Look over your shoulder, and again, notice if you have a little bit depth of a difference in the depth of the movement. Very, very nice. Let's flow up to the sky last time. And then exhale, bring the hands down. Now touch your right hand to the side on the mat and then reach up with your left arm. Now create space in between the two hands, just like the width of the Grand Canyon in your imagination. And then squeeze your shoulder blades together and back. Good. Perhaps if you can't get a touch for the feel of that, just touch your shoulder, press the shoulder back, and then reach out again. Now you can glance up at the hand in the air, or you can look at the hand on the floor, whichever is more comfortable with your neck. That's a personal thing, whatever your choice may be. Good. Now look at the hand on the floor and reach out over your head towards the point where the ceiling and the wall meet, beyond your head. So big stretch from the sit bone at the base of your pelvis all the way up to your fingers in the air. So think length. Feel how long the side of your body gets when you do this. Good. Let's sweep the arm down in front and then back up to the sky with both arms. And then exhale, the opposite hand down, your left side. Good. And reaching out again, you just decide if you want to look at the hand in the air or the hand on the floor. It's up to you. Now squeeze the shoulder blades together in back. Good. If you're not sure, again, just touch the shoulder and press the elbow back. And then reach back out. And feel the sit bone on the right side of your body. Stay in contact evenly in your pelvis. Now, what is a sit bone? A sit bone is the two little bony loops, if you visualize your pelvis, at the bottom of the insertion for the femur bone in your pelvis. So those are the two little bones. Sometimes they're called sits, S-I-T-Z, or S-I-T-S. They're really called ischial tuberosities. Don't you love that name? Good. Now look at the hand on the floor and then reach out over your head towards the point where the ceiling and the wall meet. Good. Big stretch from that grounding in the floor. Good. And then float the hand down in front of your body, sweep back up to the sky. Good. Bring the hands together at your heart and then place the hands on both knees. So on our next movement, think about the cat seated. So you're going to sit, hold on to your knees to ground yourself. Round your back down, chin towards your chest. You'd fall over backwards if you weren't holding on to your knees. Good. And then inhale, come back up very straight again. Let your shoulders go back and down. So think about cat pose. And then round your back again, just like that scared cat, making your back a dome and waking it up. And then inhale, float back up again, dropping your shoulders back and down. Good. Let's do that one more time. Good, and then flow back up. Now take a big inhale in, and then exhale, flow forward over your thighs, and then circle to your right side. Bring your left shoulder, good, and then round your back, and then circle to the left side. So continue to rotate. Good. In some schools of yoga, this is called winding up your chakras. That just means that the chakras are little round wheels of energy. That's how they're depicted. And sometimes they get to be going in opposite directions, and theoretically they're out of balance when that happens. So by doing this, we're putting them all in balance. We all want to be balanced. Good. Now come to the center, and now we go the opposite way. So what we do is we create that rotation theoretically in the chakras that balance them out and make them neutral so that they help us. And that's all in yoga tradition. Good. Let's do one more time, Miss Anna. Good. And then pause and come back upright. Beautiful. Now let's stretch out both legs in front and come to Paschimottanasana, which means seated forward fold. Now, if your knees are elevated up off the floor, you can take your beach towel and put it under your knees. You can even, if your knees are highly elevated, you can even use one of your blocks. Good. You might want to have your strap around handy for this because, again, the strap helps you make your arms longer or your legs shorter, depending on how you look at it. So here, you want to think about having a straight spine. So from your tailbone to the crown of your head, let's inhale, breathe up, and then exhale the arms to shoulder level and hinge forward from your tailbone. Now, you're not landing right yet. Inhale, float back up, and exhale, hinge forward. Good. Let's do that one more time. Hinge forward, pause, and let your hands land wherever they land. Now, lift your heart. In yoga, that means lift your sternum, lift up. Press your tailbone down into the mat, and think about grounding your practice. In this practice, we're sitting on the root chakra, which is called Muladhara. And in that chakra, it's believed to balance out your community, your family, your life, and helps you be grounded. So here, if you're going to use the strap, you put the strap one in one hand, one in the other hand. Good. And press your knees into the blocks or into the mat, whichever one you're using. Now, as you inhale in, hinge forward again, as if you're trying to fold over on top of your thighs. Walk your fingertips down closer to your feet on the strap. Pull your shoulder blades back. And you're still looking out in the distance, head level, not down or up, but just head level. Good. Think about your ears and your nose being parallel. So taking a big inhale, bend your elbows just a little bit. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Press the knees down. And feel what you feel, because, yes, we're lengthening the back of our legs. Now, we spend a lot of time sitting, normally wearing different height level shoes, and so that affects how tight the muscles are in the backs of our legs. This is usually a prime area if you're a runner. Good. You're very tight in the back of the legs. So push your heels away just a little bit, and then draw your shoulder blades back and down. Take a big inhale and bend your elbows just a little bit more, almost to the point of rounding your back, but not doing it. Good. Look at your big toes now. Good. At this point, people are starting to think, oh, I need a pedicure. So with that thought in mind, just file that thought away and come back to what you're thinking of internally. So feel, again, you're breathing. Each time we inhale, we create space, and we exhale, and we can come closer to the thighs in this case. Good. Now, always remember your feet aren't the goal in this pose. The goal in this pose is what you're feeling. Not that the backs of your knees are on the mat, not that you're holding your feet, none of those things. It's just being where you're at right now, this moment in time. It's not going to, if you did exactly the same practice 2 hours from now, it would feel different. So just know that. It's where you are right now this time. Very nice. Now let's let go of the strap and then flow all the way back up. Breathe up again. Good. And then exhale the hands down. Good. Now keeping the legs out straight, let's bring our right leg up. We're going to bring that leg up. And here's where you have to pay attention to your knees. Good. This is head to knee pose, and you're going to slide your foot up however far your knee lets you do it. So some people will have their foot all the way up in their groin. Some people will have their foot higher up than mine. I listen to my knee, and I come up however far is good for me. Now, if your knee is off the floor, some people's knee might be up here. You can put your beach towel, you can put your block under there. Any of those are good because you want to be grounded. So whatever works for you. Good. You can have the strap in the same place. So head to knee pose, you want to keep your body, your torso, facing the straight leg foot. So let's breathe up again. And then exhale, hinge forward. Good. One more time, flow up. And hinge forward. And let your hands land somewhere. So just pause right there. Now, let the hands be on the shin bone this time. And take a big inhale. And in your hips, just rotate your hips to the left side. Good. And notice that squares. You feel your inner thigh go down on the right side. Good. Maybe you tighten the muscles in the bent leg and press it down. Good. Perhaps your toes coming within reach. Perhaps you use your strap. All of those are good. But what you want to think about is straight spine. There's a big difference in each pose, whether you round or you're straight. And here we're starting with the straight spine. Good. So as you inhale and you're in the pose, perhaps you bend your elbows again, coming closer to the thigh, but you're rotating your body towards that straight leg. You theoretically wanted to think about your sternum being in alignment with your knee. And as you exhale now, round down like you're going to put your nose on the knee. Now you might have your hands on the foot. You might have your hands on the shin bone. You might have your hands on the floor. But just round down. Whether your knee and your head would ever come into the same postal code, still round down in that direction. What you want to think about is the intention of the pose and your practice. And if you're moving with intention, the benefit's the same if you move a micrometer or if you lay your whole torso on your thigh. It's the benefit's the same. In fact, the person who lays all the way on their leg is working harder than the person who actually is moving to the best of their ability, but they have a lot of distance there. So just remember it's relative to where we all are in our practice. So inhale, press down from wherever you're up, look up, and then exhale, go to the deepest point of this pose for you, wherever that may be. Good. Even if your head is not on that knee, imagine that it is. Remember, visualization is everything. Don't forget your breath. Find that steady breath. Remember, the inhale helps you lengthen. The exhale helps you settle. Very, very nice. Let's flow back up one vertebrae at a time. Good, and as you do that, let's slide that left foot in and bring the feet together. Now, I'm going to have my feet further away from my body, and it has hers a little bit closer in. So this particular pose, we think of it as butterfly. In butterfly or Baddha Konasana, that just means bound angle pose. In India, the cobblers, the people who fix shoes, used to put the shoes in between their feet so it freed their hands so that they could sew on them or fix the soles of the shoes, that type of thing. So if you think about that, push your feet together like you're holding that shoe. Push your toes together, but don't use your hands to do that. Good, let's breathe all the way up to the sky, hinge forward, and let our hands land somewhere on both sides of our feet. Now again, if your knees are elevated, you can put those blocks beneath your knees. Good. What you want to think about here is breathing in, use your inner thigh muscles to press down. So we press down those legs. Now you can imagine, once again, putting your head on your feet, whether that would ever go there or not. So take a big inhale, and then exhale. Perhaps you go down a bit lower. Perhaps you're up here somewhere. That's fine. Remember, no worries. The benefit's identical. So as we breathe in and out, use those inner thigh muscles to press down each bent leg. Very nice. So every pose in yoga usually has 2 or 3 different names. It has a Western name. It has the name in Sanskrit from the Indian culture. And then it has other colloquial names that we all use. So here, butterfly, Baddha Konasana. Good. So let's look up and flow back. Slide both legs out again. Good. And as we slide both legs out again, remember if you needed that towel or whatever behind your knees, go there. Good. Let's breathe up again. We're in seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana, and hands come down on both sides of our calves. Now this time, instead of making our back really straight, we're going to round down like we're trying to put our nose on our knees. So take a big inhale in and exhale, round down as close as you can get to those knees. Now push into the floor, but keep your elbows close to your body as you draw down. Take care your feet don't roll out to the side. Keep your toes and your kneecaps pointing up. Good. Now press down the backs of your knees. Tighten the muscles on tops of your thighs to be able to do that. Are you still breathing? You know when instructors say that, that's because they caught themselves not doing it. So let's all breathe. Good. Let's roll back up one vertebrae at a time. Come up tall again. Very nice. Now let's take our left leg and bring it in for the other side of head to knee pose. Janu Sirasana. All the pose names end in asana or ana. Inhale, breathe up. Good. Exhale, hinge forward. Now here's where you can use your strap. You can use your hands on the shin bone or on the foot. Let's start with the ankle or the strap. Take a big inhale in, draw your shoulder blades back, press down that inner thigh of the bent leg. Good. Now start tall. Walk your fingertips closer to the foot if you're using the strap, and just look out in the distance above your big toe of your right leg. Now, noticing how one side of the pose feels different from the other. Every pose we do, that's going to happen. We have a dominant side and a non-dominant side of our body. In yoga tradition, the dominant side is strong and governed by the sun, heat. The poses are strong and contracted. That side of your body is strong. In the West, we call that our dominant side. We use that side all the time, so the muscles are more contracted. In yoga tradition, the opposite side, the limber side, the flexible side, is governed by the moon. So it's cool and flexible. Good. Let's take another inhale. Lift up through the torso, press down the bent leg, and bend your elbows. So you're still straight, looking out in the distance, feeling the back of that leg lengthen. And that leg would be your right leg. Good. Very nice. Good. One more inhale, lengthen, press down the legs, both of them, and then come to the depth of the pose for you. So look at your knee and imagine you're putting your head on that knee. Keep breathing to the left side of your body towards that right leg. Beautiful. Was this your dominant side? Was this your strong side? Or was it your flexible side? So start to notice these things about yourself, because that will benefit you in every form of exercise you do. Good. Let's release the mat strap if we're using that. Hands to the mat, and then flow back up. Very nice. Now let's bring both feet together again in Baddha Konasana, but we're going to push our feet a little bit further away so our legs make a diamond shape. Shift a little bit side to side so you can feel the two halves of your pelvis settle. Good, and then breathe up one more time. Hinge forward and hands on the mat. Now sit up nice and tall. Good, press those toes together. Very nice. push your inner thighs down. Now this time, instead of pushing down, let's use the outer edges of the legs and pull down and feel the difference. Pull down with the outsides of your legs, the muscles there, and feel the difference from when you push down with the inner thigh muscles. Good. Very, very nice. Every pose in yoga prepares us for another pose. This is the preparation for turtle pose. Now, we're not going to go there quite yet, but inhale, float back up, and draw your knees together, slide your legs out. So now we're going to change directions. And Anna, if you'll flow to your back, good. Keep your feet where they are, but just flow to your back. You can bring your head to the front of the mat. That's fine. Great. And I'm going to bring my head towards Anna, and she's on her back. Good. Now, with your block, if you have it, or with your pillow, making sure that pillow is firm, what you're going to want to do first is put your knees about hip distance apart and have your feet at a comfortable distance closer to your bottom. Good. Perfect. Now, as you're here, just have the block next to your body. Good. And I'm going to join you with the same thing. And this is going to allow us to use the block and to assist us in a back bend. Now, first thing we'll do, arms next to our body. Good. As we inhale here, let your lower back relax into the mat. Good. If you have that pillow or the block, exhale and lift your hips up off the block and place the block underneath your pelvis. Now, you want to make sure that there's a little bit of your tailbone on the opposite side closer to your feet, and that it's not up way high in your waistline, meaning the block is not. Good. Arms are together on the mat, and make sure that the knees point up towards the sky. Very nice. So we know this pose as bridge pose. In yoga tradition, it's called Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Now, what that means is preparation for shoulder stand. But no worries, we're not going there today. So for the moment, bridge pose. Now, the focus here is to allow yourself to start to relax into the pose. In yoga, just like every other sport or activity that we do in the West, we always counter pose. We call it working opposing muscle groups. And then inhale, float your right leg up to the sky. So as we lift that leg up, just flex the foot. Feel how nice and long it feels after all of that lengthening in the earlier poses. Good. Now use your thigh and draw that leg a little closer towards your head so that you feel the stretch from the base of your pelvis up to the back of the knee. Very nice. Now bend your knee and then float that foot to the mat. Good. Same thing on the other side. Straighten that leg out. Good. Straight as you can make that leg. It's not weight bearing. You can almost lock it. Good. Now tighten the quadricep. Draw that leg closer to your body. And again, feel how long your leg feels after those earlier poses that we did. Good. Feel your shoulder blades together behind your back. Make sure you feel the back of your skull touching the mat. Good. Let's float both legs up. Now this is a variation of legs up the wall pose, or Viparta Kanari. We're doing it on the block and imagining the wall. But you can easily go to your wall in your home and stretch your legs up against it. Now this is very useful because it helps release lactic acid out of your legs. In the West, in yoga tradition, it helps reverse the blood flow of the body so that you get that fresh oxygenated blood up into your legs, which it does. Yoga being 5,000 to 7,000 years old, it's amazing how they use different terminology to come to the same conclusion that we have also come to now at this point in time. So here you just allow the tension you feel in your legs to start to float away. Good. Let's just bend our knees right now. Keep your feet flexed. Think of your knees being over your hips. Good. Let one foot come down, and then let the other foot come down. Good. Now having your feet a little closer to the block, so just slide your heels in a little closer. On your next inhale, lift your hips up off the block, float the block out from beneath, but stay elevated. You can just move the block out of the way. Now if you like staying on the block, feel free to leave it there. Good. So inhale, press the 2 hip pointers up. So lift up without squeezing the buns in the back or your seat muscles. As we breathe, take care your knees don't flop out to the side, but that you keep them in alignment with your hips. And then come down 1 vertebrae at a time till your whole torso is back to the mat. Good. Let's stretch up that right leg to the sky again, and then cross it on top of the left leg at the ankle. Move your arms out from the shoulder like the letter T. Good. Pause here. Let your lower back relax into the mat. Very, very, very nice. Now let's float that foot down to the mat and lift up the opposite leg. Good, and come into the same pose. Cross at the ankle on top of the opposite knee. Now if these poses look familiar, like things that you use in traditional fitness classes, again, yoga's 5,000 to 7,000 years old, and you can't improve on something that was really good to begin with, so we still use these same poses. We call these figure 4s in the West. Very nice. Now, bring your knees in, both of them close. Slide your hands down to your ankles, knees open wide, feet right over top of your knees. This is called happy baby pose. Babies really do this. They wiggle their feet and wiggle their toes. Good. Now, sometimes it's called dead bug. I think that's, depressing, so I like a happy baby better. Happy babies move, so let's shift a little bit in our lower back to allow the back to relax. Draw your chin down a little bit towards your chest so that it's not higher than your nose. And then let's bring our feet together as if we're doing butterfly on our back, and then draw the feet in closer to our body. Press your shoulders down to the mat. Good. You can press your elbows into your thighs if you like. Very, very nice. Let's bring both knees in and then slide the feet out. Good. So when the feet come to the mat, then slide them out. Good. Try not to come in contact with anybody else that you're in practice with. Good. And then just stretch your arms out over your head. So active relaxation before we move into Shavasana, or resting pose. So in this, we start to inhale in and tighten every muscle in our body. Make a face, make a fist, clench your jaw, reach out as far as you can. You might come up off the floor, and then exhale, go limp. Good. And again, start to inhale in, tighten every muscle in your body. Make a face, make a fist, clench your jaw, and then exhale, go limp. Now pause right there and allow the arms to either remain over your head if they're totally touching the floor, or you can bring them out like the letter T or at an angle away from your shoulders. Palms up, inside arm up. The legs can be out a little wider and relaxed, or you can bend your knees and put the soles of your feet together, that is in butterfly, or you can bring your soles of your feet to the mat and have your knees bent. So your option, knees bent, feet on the floor, knees bent, feet in butterfly, flat on your back. So whichever one speaks to you, find a place where you can be for the next few moments as your body starts to integrate all of the things that we've done today into your organic practice. Muscle memory, organic memory. Good. Let your breath start to flow back to normal. And as you flow in and out, just shut your eyes, because at this point, anything that you're seeing visually is a distraction. It draws you out of the moment and makes your mind become busy again. So even if you peek and see me sitting up, you stay where you are. Good. So as we're breathing in and out, just allow yourself to feel a little heavier each time you exhale, almost as if you're melting. And when you melt, just have that sensation of sinking lower. And as you sink lower, just allow the mind to be very quiet. If a busy thought pops in, just allow it to float away. Again, it'll be there in a few moments. You just don't need that thought right now. Allow your breath to be relaxed and your mind to be quiet. May we be safe from inner and outer harm. May our hearts be open and loving. May our bodies be healthy and strong. May we walk the path of life in peace, joy, and contentment all of our days. So let's wiggle our fingers and our toes and start to reconnect. Yawn and make funny faces and draw our knees to our chest and give ourselves a big hug of appreciation for the time that we gave ourselves to be here today. A little circle side to side, a little circle forward back, and then either roll to a seated position or help yourself up to a seated position by turning to the side. Good. And we'll seal our practice. So as you come to seated position, hands can be on the backs of your knees or at heart center, whichever you like. Good. And to seal our practice today, let us bring our thoughts inward one more time. We come together and we share that light within each of us, that light that we share that makes us unique. That positive energy helps us move out into the world, off of the mat, and open to all of the opportunities out there for us to share. Thank you for letting me lead your practice this afternoon. Namaste.